Last night, something occurred. You're still unaware of it. However, someone was talking about you while you were asleep. Not in passing, not in a whisper. They spoke about you for hours. And everything you think about your future will be altered by what they said. Their family got together last night. The table was ready. The room was filled with laughter. Then your name was brought up. The room became silent. Quiet is not uncomfortable. The kind of silence that results from the presence of something holy. Have you ever experienced that? When a room becomes aware that something significant is taking place. That was the previous evening. However, you must hear this reality. It wasn't typical what they said about you. It wasn't casual conversation. It wasn't informal. No, they talked about you as if you were already present. Even when you weren't there, it felt like you were. Do you know what that means? You've been questioning your significance for a very long time. If you are really seen by anyone, if the person you love truly knows who you are, then someone stood up for you last night while you were dreaming. You were honored by someone. Someone explained to their family why you are unique. However, they didn't end there. There was another incident. A question was posed by their mother. A question that caused everyone at the table to pause. Do they know? Do you understand what she meant by that? Maybe you felt it, too. That missing piece. That thing you've been waiting for. That confirmation you've been hoping to hear last night. That confirmation was spoken, but not in the way you might think, she added. You see, they talked about more than just your generosity and goodness. They also talked about your strength, patience, perseverance, endurance, and belief in something even when it didn't make sense. The room changed in the middle of the conversation, and for a brief moment, everyone in the room felt a presence, a gentle confirmation, as if heaven itself was listening. Now, here's the question you're probably asking. Something deeper happened, something even they didn't fully comprehend. What precisely did they say? What words came out of their mouth? How did their voice sound when they said your name? You want to know the details, you want to repeat every sentence, you want to feel the weight of every word. However, the important thing is that this is what matters, not the specifics. You weren't present when the conversation took place, but someone else was, someone who has been keeping an eye on you the entire time, someone who is aware of the whole story and wants you to realize that what was said last night was a sneak peek at something bigger, a sneak peek at what's to come. You need to stay with me because the following part, the bit about what occurs next, is much more essential than what happened last night. That talk wasn't accidental or random, rather, it was preparation for something that is about to happen in your own life. You see, they didn't just talk about who you are now, they also talked about who you are becoming. They talked about your development, your metamorphosis, how you've changed over the past few months, how you've grown stronger, and how their family observed that you've stopped settling for less. Everyone at the table noticed, but here's the mystery, one person didn't say anything at all, not because they disagreed or were upset, but rather because they were listening, assessing, and gauging the intensity of the discussion. You're probably asking, who was that person? And why does their silence matter so much? Well, sometimes the most powerful voice in the room is the one who says nothing at all. That silent person observed something, and what they found will have a greater impact on your future than you realize. They sense something, and now they're observing you to see if what was said about you is true, another truth. The conversation went on, becoming more honest, vulnerable, and in-depth, until one word was said that altered everything and made everyone in the room realize that your connection is different. They said that you feel like home, not like a destination, not like a temporary place, not like someone who will eventually leave. Do you want to know what that word was? You might not be ready for it, and you might not fully understand its weight, but I'll tell you anyway because you deserve to know. It's not like other connections, it's not ordinary. No, they said, you feel like the place where the heart finally rests, and when they said that, everyone knew and understood. This is the kind of connection that transforms everything. It's not a fleeting moment or a fleeting feeling, it's permanent and lasting. However, there's one more piece. One person remained behind after everyone had finished speaking, the laughter had subsided, and the table had cleared. They whispered something that was never intended to be repeated, but you're hearing it now. Maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe they still require more time. Maybe before they can truly experience love, they need to see how much they are loved. And that's where the narrative changes. Because what was said is no longer the only question. It concerns you and your next course of action. A glance into a discussion you weren't supposed to hear is something unique and priceless that you have been gifted. You are now at a turning point in your life. Will you allow this information to transform you? Will you allow your heart to become softer? Or would you allow uncertainty to persuade you that it wasn't real? Think about this. The individual who mentioned you last night. They were not required to. They decided to. They decided to stand up for you. They decided to pay tribute to you. They made the decision to reveal your identity to their family. And that wasn't a random decision. It was deliberate. It was divine. The greatest fact, however, remains concealed. The most crucial element is still to come. The section on what is happening right now. The section describing what was initiated. The portion of the discussion that is still ongoing. Yes, last night did come to an end. The family returned home. However, something began. Something unstoppable. There's more layer, so don't go just yet. One more discussion. One that has not yet occurred but is on its way. And you will be the target of this one. Not in reference to you. To you. What are you going to say? How are you going to react? Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to know what to do? Or are you going to freeze? Are you going to back off? Will you question what you just heard? Right now is the time. Everything changes at this point because you are aware of what was said. You are aware of their emotions. You are aware that their family is aware. You have to make a decision immediately. Will you change into the person you're becoming, or will you stay the person you were? You have to go through the door that was opened by last night's conversation. Nobody is able to accomplish that for you. For now, one last fact. The one guy at the table remained silent. It wasn't a rejection. It was a case of observation. And what they saw gave them hope, belief, and confidence that you are exactly who you are meant to be. However, the story doesn't finish there. The next section starts at that point. You'll find out what occurs when the silent one talks in the next section. You'll find out what happens when everything shifts. When the talk reaches its last chapter, you'll find out what occurs, and since you now know, you'll be prepared. Remain with me. The question you've been asking all along will be addressed in the upcoming section. After that night, something changed. Doesn't the air around you feel different now? Like the universe is holding its breath, like a soft pressure, like a subdued expectation. Maybe you experienced it as well. It's an odd feeling that something invisible has shifted. There was a burden on your chest when you woke up this morning. Not a heavy burden, not melancholy, but something else, something strange, a calm, profound awareness that the world has changed but you are unable to pinpoint the exact reason. That quiet individual at the table, the one who observed without saying anything. The person who heard everything said about you. They have been reflecting. They have been thinking. They have been waiting for the ideal opportunity. And you don't realize how close that moment is. But let me ask you a question before we head there. Have you noticed that lately, your heart has been performing strangely? Thinking about them makes you beat a little quicker. Hearing their voice makes you feel a little lighter. Maybe you've even noticed yourself grinning for no apparent reason before realizing it. It's because you sense something approaching. That isn't fantasy. That isn't wishful thinking. That's getting ready. Your heart is preparing itself. It is prepared to get what it has been waiting for. Something that was initiated throughout that discussion. Something that is currently approaching you. This is what you must comprehend. When someone honors you in front of their loved ones and speaks about you with good intentions, something occurs in the spiritual world when they put themselves in danger to protect your reputation. A blessing is unleashed, a door opens, and a pathway clears. Furthermore, that benediction leaves the room in which it was given. No, it moves. You are followed by it. It envelopes you. It waits. Awaits your attention. Awaits your acceptance. Awaits your eventual conviction that you are deserving of it. However, there is an additional layer. Something that the individual who talked about you had no idea about. Something that the silent observer failed to see. After everyone had left the table, something occurred. A moment so private and pure that only heaven saw it. A prayer was muttered in that silent room, where the candles were still burning and the plates were still on the table. Not by any of the relatives. No, this prayer originated somewhere else. And you were the subject of that prayer. What was said? I'll give you tranquility even if you might not be ready for the whole answer. A calm that will help your heart comprehend. This was stated in the prayer. Let them observe what we do. Tell them what we know. Allow them to experience our emotions. And let them to at last rest in the knowledge that they are incredibly loved. Do you sense that? Do you feel the change occurring within you at this moment? Maybe the temperature of your eyes is rising. Maybe your throat is constricting. It's possible that you're coming to a realization about something you've always understood but never completely acknowledged. In this, you are not by yourself. You've never been. And last night's talk served as evidence. Evidence that you are genuinely seen by someone in this world who shares your narrative and who is important to you. The real you, the weary you, the optimistic you, the one who still believes in love despite everything, not the version of yourself that you show the world, not the polished picture. This is where it becomes even more complex, though. Last night, the silent person came to a choice. Not right now. Not at the table. No, they succeeded later. They made the decision to get in touch after everyone had left, the door had closed, and they were all by themselves. Not right away, not rashly, but soon. And everything will change when they do. All of your preconceived notions about this connection and how it would develop will be completely revised. However, there is a requirement. A condition is constantly present. You have to have an open heart. Not even halfway open. Most of the time, it is not entirely open without reservations. Because the message might never get through to you if you're still guarding yourself, keeping back, or erecting walls. As you can see, the message has already been created, written, and is ready, but it still needs a recipient. A prepared receiver. A willing recipient. A listener who has the courage to hear what must be uttered. So tell me, are you brave? Would you be willing? Are you prepared to hear something that could completely alter your life? Because the individual who has been silent is going to say something. You will either soar or freeze as a result of what they say. However, you are not required to freeze. Hiding is not necessary. You have sensed this coming, so you don't need to act as though you haven't. Your bones sensed it. In your dreams, you sensed it. In the quiet times when you're by yourself, you felt it. One more fact. The individual who mentioned you last night and stated you feel at home is anxious today. Anxious about what will happen next. Anxious about whether you'll get what's in store. Apprehensive about your ability to believe it. They are hopeful, nevertheless. They are more optimistic than ever. Because they perceived something in you that even you find difficult to see and that no one else does. They perceived power. They observed resiliency. They witnessed an unwavering heart. And that caused them to plummet even farther. But hold on, there's one more secret, one more unspoken truth, one more aspect of the discussion that you haven't heard. And everything will be connected by this piece. Do you recall the mother asking you if you knew? This is what she intended. She intended. Is this individual aware of how much you love them? Is this person aware of how desirable they are? Is this person aware that they are a permanent part of the plot rather than only a passing guest? You will be surprised by the response provided last night because the person who spoke about you stated this. They will, but they don't know yet. And everything will change when they do. That's the secret. The opening is that. That's the entryway that will soon open. You're going to find out. You're going to comprehend. You're going to get something. However, you have to remain in the moment. You have to remain receptive. You have to continue to believe. While the discussion is still ongoing. It goes on. The conversation is still ongoing even as you read these lines, your heart is racing, and you're wondering what will happen next. And you're going to be part of it. However, I need you to take action before we continue, before the next piece is disclosed, and before the silent individual speaks at last. I need you to take deep, deliberate, slow breaths. Give this moment some thought. Give these words time to sink in your chest. Allow them to become a part of you. Because there will be more than simply information in the future. It's a change. Additionally, planning is necessary for transformation. These words are currently preparing you. You will be prepared by now, by this insight, and when the next phase comes, when the voice of the silent person finally emerges. You'll be resilient. You'll be receptive. And at last you'll know what it really means to be noticed. The story is just getting started, but the night is ended. And the most exquisite chapter is yet to be written. There will soon be a break in the silence. Do you sense it? The air was tense. Just beneath your skin, there's an electric charge. Something is about to reach its zenith. Something that has been growing since that table, since that evening, since those remarks were said about you. Here's what you don't yet know, though. The silent individual did not merely observe. They were not merely listeners. They experienced something as well. Something caught them off guard. Something that caused them to doubt what they believed to be true. And that emotion is going to be your response. What was it like to be the one who waited all the time? The one who never stopped hoping? The person who consistently held on to their beliefs despite the lack of evidence to support them. You were that. You are that. And someone finally noticed that last night. Your patience was evident to them. They witnessed your loyalty.